Ready for the hunt? Washington doesn't wait. IT dominates. The HC brought war tactics to exterminate 20 years of shame. How? By turning each defeat into ammunition. But beware, the secret weapon isn't a player. It's a rookie hiding in the fourth step. While the NFL sleeps, Peters executes his master play, using our QB's contract to load up on killer veterans. Do you know what you're missing if you don't see this? The key to understanding why we're the oldest and most dangerous team. Do you think it's a coincidence that rivals fear our depth chart? Commanders, this isn't hope. It's a booty trap. Subscribe now or be left out when the DMV explodes with glory. After years of watching this organization settle for utter mediocrity, after suffering through coaches who came in and talked about endless processes and endless patience, we finally have a head coach who understands exactly what it means to be from Washington, D.C. Did you think that after the historic season we had, Quinn was going to let his guard down? You are dead wrong. Dan Quinn just released a statement that perfectly defines the Commanders' new identity. And I'll tell you, I'm more excited than the Jaden Daniels draft. Quinn said something that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. We are always the hunters, never the hunted. And you know why this is absolutely brilliant? I'll tell you this. After decades of being the laughingstock of the NFC East, after years of being the ones who took the blows without responding, we finally have a leader who understands that in this city, we don't accept being victims of anyone. This man isn't satisfied with last season's 12 wins. He's not content with having made the playoffs for the first time in years. His improve or get out philosophy isn't just motivational rhetoric. It's the most profound cultural transformation this organization has undergone since the days of Joe Gibbs. Remember when we had coaches who came in promising gradual changes? I think Quinn arrived on day one establishing that we're here to win. From the first snap, from the first practice, from the first meeting. But here's what really impresses me. Quinn is implementing military techniques to review every organizational decision. He's using after-action reviews he learned directly from friends in the military, where the entire staff meticulously breaks down what was supposed to happen, what actually happened, and exactly what needs to change for next time. Do you think this methodology is a coincidence? Not at all. This man is systematically eliminating all the gray areas that have plagued this franchise for over 2 decades. No more vague excuses. No more "it depends on the circumstances." No more complacency masquerading as realism. This is how we do business here, Quinn declared with a conviction that immediately reminded me of the great coaches in this team's history. And I firmly believe that such absolute clarity is exactly what we needed after years of navigating total organizational confusion. Now, I ask you, do you think it's a mere coincidence that after hiring Quinn as head coach, Peters immediately went after players like Deebo Samuel and Von Miller? I believe it's nitrogen monoxide coincidence at all. This organization finally has a crystal clear vision, and Quinn is setting the perfect cultural tone. Win now, win with relentless intensity, win like true hunters. And when Quinn specifically talks about Jaden Daniels elevating the performance of the players around him, when he mentions that our quarterback has worked tirelessly on his accuracy and mastering different types of passes, I tell you this without hesitation. That is exactly the kind of accelerated development and natural leadership we haven't witnessed in Washington in over a full decade. Quinn directly promised the fans that this team is going to give absolutely everything it has on every play. That we're going to be proud not only of the results, but of our style of play, our competitive attitude, who we are as players, and as an entire organization. After endless years of suffering with coaches who simply didn't understand the tireless passion of this city, who didn't understand what it means to bleed burgundy and gold, we finally have someone who breathes this culture like we breathe it every Sunday. If that has you excited, wait until you hear what happened to our rookie sensation, Jakery Krosky Merritt, the 7th-round running back who had us all completely crazy during every training camp practice and was an absolute revelation in the preseason. Just received a reality check that nitrogen monoxide won and the entire DMV saw coming, even remotely. And I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. What's happening here is infinitely more complex and strategic than it appears on the surface. After being so absolutely stunning that the organization made the drastic decision to trade Brian Robinson Jr. to the 49ers. After generating so much legitimate buzz that we fans were already seeing him as the undisputed future of the Washington backfield, it turns out Krosky Merritt is listed 4th on the official depth chart behind Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. But do you really think this automatically means our rookie phenom won't get any significant playing time this season? I say this with total conviction. You are absolutely mistaken if you interpret the situation in that superficial way. Modern football, especially under the ultra-competitive philosophy Quinn has instilled in this organization, never works with a single running back carrying the entire offensive load. Truly competitive teams, those with deep playoff hopes, utilize consistent and strategic rotations, and the fact that Washington decided to keep 4 different backs on the final 53-man roster clearly tells me that they're going to use each of these athletes in a specific and calculated way. Here's exactly what really stands out to me. NBC Sports' J.P. Finley meticulously reported that throughout all this crucial week's practices, Krosky Merritt continued to take significant reps exclusively with the second team, ranking him just 1 notch behind Eckler in actual rotations. And you know exactly what this privileged information tells me? That this official depth chart we're seeing published doesn't even come close to telling the whole story of what's happening daily inside the Ashbourne facility. I strongly believe Peters and Quinn are being extraordinarily smart and calculated in handling the development of this explosive rookie. Do you all remember the case of Devon Achane with Miami exactly 2 seasons ago? That same player was declared a healthy scratch in week 1 of his rookie season, completely excluded from his team's initial game plan. 2 weeks after that seemingly inexplicable decision, that same Devon Achane rushed for over 200 yards and scored 4 total touchdowns in a single devastating game, setting offensive records no one anticipated. Pure talent, natural explosiveness, exceptional field vision, those qualities don't magically disappear just because a player is listed 4th on an official roster that can change dramatically from week to week. And you think it's just a coincidence that Quinn and Peters made the specific decision not to use Krosky Merritt during the final preseason game, but simultaneously gave extensive and significant reps to McNichols and Rodriguez. I think the coaching staff is already absolutely certain of exactly what they have in this explosive rookie and didn't want to risk him unnecessarily in a game that had no bearing whatsoever on the ultimate outcome of the season. Now I ask you directly, why would you logically trade Brian Robinson Jr., a thoroughly proven, reliable, and productive back, if you didn't have complete and utter confidence that Krosky Merritt could contribute immediately and in an impactful way? This organization doesn't make roster decisions of this magnitude on a whim or out of simple curiosity. When Peters moves pieces like this, it's because he has information we don't fully understand. But here comes the really explosive thing Adam Peters is doing with this roster. The strangest, most counterintuitive, and simultaneously most brilliant organizational decision Adam Peters has ever executed as CEO has just been fully exposed for the world to see. And honestly, I am absolutely blown away by the visionary audacity and long-term strategic planning this move demonstrates. Washington just officially became the team with the highest average age in the entire National Football League. And that demographic transformation was not an accident. It was not an unintended consequence. It was not the result of uncoordinated decisions. Do you all remember when Peters arrived at this organization in early 2024 and began his tenure systematically cutting veterans like Logan Thomas, Charles Leno Jr., and Nick Gates? All of those players had an average age of around 31. He immediately followed that up by purging the roster of more established veterans, Kendall Fuller, Tyler Larson, Jacoby Brissett, Curtis Samuel, David Mayo, and Cody Barton. All of us, including myself, interpreted these moves as a clear signal that the organizational direction was moving toward a massive traditional rebuilding, toward absolute youth and long-term patience. We were completely wrong in our superficial analysis. It turns out Peters was executing a three-dimensional chess strategy, while we were all playing basic checkers in the neighborhood park. Yes, he deliberately eliminated specific veterans, but he immediately began incorporating even more veteran, more experienced, more high-pressure players like Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz, and later intensified that philosophy with the blockbuster acquisitions of Laramie Tunsil, Deebo Samuel Sr., and Von Miller. The statistical numbers are absolutely staggering and reveal the magnitude of this transformation. The average age of the roster jumped dramatically from 26.64 years in 2024 to 27.13 years in 2025. Washington is literally the only team in the entire league with an average age over a full 27 years old. Of the 7 teams that maintained older rosters than the Commanders last season, each reduced their average age by at least half a year. We executed the exact opposite strategy and intentionally and strategically aged the roster. And you know why this decision is absolutely brilliant from any analytical perspective. I'll tell you this without hesitation. Peters learned crucial and extremely painful lessons during his first-hand experience in San Francisco. He witnessed firsthand how the 49ers wasted invaluable years of Brock Purdy's career while the quarterback was on his rookie contract. Years where they had multiple legitimate opportunities to win Super Bowls and couldn't close those windows of opportunity. Peters will not allow the exact same organizational mistake to be repeated under any circumstances with Jayden Daniels as the centerpiece of the franchise. This man is executing exactly the strategy any truly smart visionary GM should implement, using these 2 absolutely crucial years where Jayden is generating rookie contract money to add as many talented, proven, and available veterans as physically possible. Tunsil, Samuel, Miller, Wagner. These are elite athletes who are in their final years of absolute prime performance, but who can immediately and dramatically raise this team's competitive ceiling to the level of a legitimate title contender. Do you think Peters spends time worrying about maintaining the youngest roster in the league? Absolutely not. He's solely concerned with one specific goal: winning a Super Bowl before he's forced to pay Daniels $50 to $55 million annually in his next massive contract. And honestly, that organizational urgency, that constructive pressure, that win-now mentality has me completely thrilled because it shows real ambition. Take a close look at our divisional rivals. The Cowboys continued to blindly bank on 31-year-old Dak Prescott without significantly or consistently improving the roster around him. The Eagles are relying on Jalen Hurts' skills without strategically surrounding him with proven veterans at the most crucial moments. The Giants. Well, the Giants are eternally the Giants and are navigating a complete rebuilding mode with no clear direction. And here we are, meticulously and systematically building a super team fully optimized to exploit a specific and calculated 2-year window. Now I ask you directly, wouldn't you prefer to have a realistic and tangible 2-year window to conquer absolutely everything instead of embarking on a 5-year, gradual rebuild that guarantees absolutely nothing and could completely fail? This organizational decision adds considerable pressure and responsibility to the next 24 months. But after endless decades of suffering with consistent mediocrity, I believe that pressure is exactly the catalyst this franchise needed. Peters is going all in on Daniels and this golden window. And that relentless win-now mentality is what definitively separates championship-level organizations from the rest of the league. And just when you thought we'd covered all the explosive news of the week, here comes some information that could completely alter our plans for this season. Marcus Mariota has been quietly dealing with Achilles tendonitis. An injury that may be more complicated than it initially appears. Do you think an Achilles tendon injury is a minor issue for a quarterback who relies on his mobility? I'll tell you this. You're completely wrong. If you think this doesn't affect our contingency plans, Mariota isn't just our backup. He's our life insurance if anything happens to Daniels. And now it turns out our life insurance is compromised physically, just when we need him healthy the most. And you know what really worries me? That Quinn and Peters haven't been completely transparent about the true severity of this situation. Achilles tendonitis can easily turn into something much more serious if not managed properly. Now, I ask you, are we really prepared if Daniels gets injured and Mariota can't perform at 100% because of this silent injury?